Colby is with us in Louisiana. Hi, Colby. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. How can we help?
So I am the interim manager for my dad's business after he's passed away recently.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
Cancer. So thank you.
How old was he?
Almost 65.
Wow. What kind of business?
Specialty electrical contracting.
Were you already working there?
I used to work for him years ago. I worked for him for a little over 5 years. But kind of part of my question, we decided that wasn't best for us to stay there long term. And but since he's passed, I've had to step in and try to handle the affairs to take care of what's going on.
Now, how long ago did he pass?
July of this year, so really a few months ago.
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. How old are you, Colby?
I am 35.
Okay. All right, cool. Did you just quit your full-time job and jump over there? What are you doing?
So I did take a little bit of time off, about a month and a half, almost 2 months, to, of course, take care of some of the other things going on and to kind of step into the business to learn and kind of reacquaint myself. But I actually do have another full-time position, and I'm only managing the business part-time as now.
Okay. How many team members in the business?
Not including myself or my mother. We have 5.
Your mom's down at the office? She's down at the office?
She's actually not actively in the business, no. She's the current shareholder, but she's not actively working in the business.
So she doesn't have any idea what's going on down there. You've had to go down there and figure it out.
She does have some idea because, my dad was very vocal about what he did and, I was very proud of what he did. But yes, currently it's just me, and we have a really good office manager that does great.
Okay, I'm sorry. So again, how many team members?
We have 5, not including myself.
Okay, cool. And what's the revenue on this?
Last year was about $1.4 million, and it can bounce around depending upon the projects that they've had.
And any specialty electrical contracting?
Yep. So there's kind of 2 sides. Home standby generators is a big part of the business. So the selling of new units and maintenance contracts for the ones that are in place. And then he's also very established in the telecom industry. So cellular tower work and a few special projects around that.
Okay. But most of the 1.4 is the generators.
It's actually almost half and half.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Probably 70-30. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. I kind of got the picture. I kind of got the picture now. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for filling me in. What is your question? Yeah.
So, one of my dad's requests prior to his passing was asking for my help to sell the business, as you can imagine, to help take care of my mother in her future. And actually, this is what I do professionally. I work for a business broker as a consultant, but I don't necessarily specialize or have experience in contractors. I work in a different industry. And so I'm trying to get someone else's opinion on what I should do with the current scenarios that I'm looking at. I've got a key employee that has been with the business for 20 plus years. I think is a good candidate in terms of relationship with clients and knowing the business, but I'm not fully confident in their leadership skills or being able to manage the business and the day-to-day affairs. Or option number 2 is working with another business broker or someone else to help me prepare and sell to an outside party. And this is very emotional for me, as you can imagine. So I'm trying to get some other professional opinions on, other people's thoughts on what I can maybe do.
Yeah. So the net profits are what?
Well, there's another kind of problem. My dad managed it okay, but from what I was able to figure out, he managed it well enough to pay his own salary and a little bit of discretionary earnings. So after you take out his salary, and then probably a little bit of margin, there was maybe $150,000 in net profit.
But his salary was more than you would pay a manager to manage it.
It was right about what I pay a manager.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you got $150,000. Yep. So you valued it at what, 600?
600 plus the assets, yes.
Okay. All right. What are the assets?
The business owns the building and the property.
Yeah, that's a separate part. That's a piece of real estate, yeah.
Yeah, so the real estate, and then there's a schedule of vehicles and trailers and equipment.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they would go with the 600 probably. All right. Yeah, the real estate, carve that off and go, we're going to sell the real estate. Just get a real estate agent. The business, if the business wants to stay as a tenant, that's fine. You may want the business to stay as a tenant and your mom keep the real estate. But I would keep those separate.
Sure.
What is the real estate? Yeah, is it specialty real estate? Is it weird?
It's not. It's actually also distressed. It's not a great part of town. It's in a flood zone, so that's another consideration. So there is some market value, but it's not also not very great.
Yeah, but it's not. I would keep the real estate separate from the business. Okay, either if you want. I mean, evaluation wise. All right, so we got $600,000 business, and we got a piece of real estate, and you can either buy the real estate or not buy the real estate, or we'll have an auction and sell it. Or if you want to, lease it back from mom, she could take the lease payment on the real estate. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. But that's first thing I would tell you to do. You got a good valuation on it. I'm not questioning that. So when you say plus the assets, I would separate the assets. In other words, not the cars and trucks. You got to have those to run the business. They're part of the business, but the real estate's a separate transaction. Now, you're a business broker. You already know this. The best luck we've had with EntreLeadership clients selling a business is horizontal or vertical, meaning a customer or a supplier or a competitor. Horizontal is a competitor. A customer or a supplier is vertical. And so if there's a customer that's, big in cell phone towers that would like to own this and could absorb it into their operation, they may be a player, maybe one of your current customers or a former customer. Suppliers, in what you're describing to me, I doubt it, but there might be a local distributor of generators that would put this on the side and go, well, not only can we be a local distributor, but we're also going to do the install and the maintenance and take these contracts on. And so whoever you're buying the generators from might be a player, that kind of a thing. And then, of course, if there's a competitor, which is probably not a big line of those in this, but even if they're in a different city, you're in Lafayette, Louisiana, and so if you go to Monroe or you go to Baton Rouge or something like that and go, is there somebody up there that's a competitor that would want to have a branch office in Lafayette, right? That kind of thing. You already know how to do all that as a business broker, right?
Yeah. That's not really my concern. I think my main question is, because I have a key employee who I think is eager to have the conversation, and we've had a few conversations to date, just not necessarily terms, versus going external.
What's the key employee make a year right now?
They have a salary, I want to say between 60 and 70, and then there's usually overtime.
Okay.
He's currently a foreman.
Okay. All right. And so it sounds like I'm reading into this, so you correct me, okay? It sounds like you don't think he has the chops.
I think he has some skills.
He's good at what he does, but he's not well-rounded enough to run the whole operation.
Correct.
That's what I meant. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And even in the interim, I've actually brought in a consultant like myself that does know contracting businesses in this industry to kind of help me get my hands on things for a few months. And so it's possible they could stay on to help him through a transition or maybe learn some of those skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, just signing papers and
what's the consultant make?
He charges about between $2,000 and $3,000 a month.
Okay. All right. Well, what you could propose is this: like, you have to keep the consultant on, and you have to give us 100% of the profits until we get to. You keep $70,000 a year, plus you keep the consultant on as an expense, and after those two bills are paid, you give us all the profits, which was your dad's old salary plus $150, until we get to $600, and you would get that.
Well, the $150 actually included my dad's salary, so it's about $100 plus $50 to $60.
Oh, okay. All right. So $150. So it's going to take you 4 years to pay us out, and then you can get rid of the consultant, or you can get rid of the consultant when you're able to take the training wheels off, whatever we want to do there. But at least for a year, you got to keep them on until you can get your operational guidance, and you have to agree to pay us 100% of profits above $70,000 and above the consultant until we get to $600.
Well, I think that's one of my fears, and maybe you could maybe talk me through this too, but I'm not sure I or my mother's willing to take the risk for 4 or 5 years for him to manage it, even with the consultant.
Okay. Then the only reason you would take that risk is if you don't have a better option.
Right.
If you have a buyer that's offering you $200 cash on the barrelhead, do you want to trade that for $600? Bird in the hand versus 3 in the nest. I don't know. You got to decide that, and that's really looking at that guy and going, what's his probability of success?
Right.
If he has a low probability of success, and the more I talk to you, the more I think he does. You don't think he does. You don't think he's got a high probability of success, the way you've talked about 2 or 3 times now. So I'm starting to worry about him. But if you wanted to bet on him because the only other offers you got are low ball cash, then that's the way you could structure it. And that would bring him into the fold. The other problem is if you bring in it doesn't affect you. Yeah. But you got to decide, okay, versus what we think we could get from him, can he run it? And, you could put a trigger clause in there and go, if the profits drop below X, the business reverts back to us.
Well, that's another, I guess, factor too is, again, the emotional part of it. But my father was very proud. He did very good things and made a good living for us. But also, I think we're looking for a clean break in part of this process. And so, the sooner we could, as a family, move on from this.
So you're ready to take 200 instead of 600 if it's on the barrelhead, right?
If that's the only option, then that's possibly, it could be in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because you're probably, I don't know where you're going to find, you're now in the business brokerage business and you're already there, so you know what you're dealing with. I don't know what you can get. Yeah. But I'm
confident we could get other external offers, but again, we're just trying to figure out, does it make sense to give the employee the consideration to see if he'll,
doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like you believe in it.
Right.
He doesn't have the ability to go get $600,000, does he?
We haven't engaged with the bank yet, or if he's thought about getting a partner or an investor, but we haven't had that conversation yet. Probably
if he scrapes together a good offer, cash, he certainly could do it.
Sure.
But what you're saying is I don't believe him in enough to finance this.
Not seller finance, no sir.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep.
And so I think, how long you been doing business brokerage?
Intentionally for about 2 years, but I've been similar space for close to 10.
Yeah. Well, you check me if I'm wrong, but I think a banker might look at him the exact same way you're looking at him.
That's the reason I'm trying to get other people to help talk to.
I mean, isn't that your experience in the business brokerage world?
It is.
The guy has to go in and sell himself to the banker as being competent to make the payments.
Correct. Yeah, it's not just about the numbers and the P&L.
Yeah, I doubt he's got a $600,000 or $500,000 or $400,000 asset he can pledge either.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. And if the real estate's not worth much, if you want to roll it in, give him a mortgage let the bank take a loan on that real estate, that might help him get the financing. Since the real estate's kind of weird and floodplainy and low into town and all that kind of junk. So, yeah, you got a lot going on, dude. I'm sorry. I don't have a magic wand for you, but I think you're down to, I think we have analyzed in this phone call that you don't want to carry seller financing with this guy, period. So now we're down to, can he bring in an investor? I'll give him a shot, but we're also putting it on the market. First guy here with the money wins the deal. And because I'm not waiting around for 2 years while you run this thing and you lose your whole business brokerage career. And, of course, the other thing you can do is just sell off the assets and try to find somebody by the client list. Sell off the inventory, collect the receivables, pay the payables, close it. And that's book valuing the business. And you, again, as a business broker, know you can do that. But that's your worst case scenario. I'm putting it on the market, or I'll give him 30 days, and after that I'm putting it on the market and say, hey, you need to go get an investor or a bank. We can't sell her. Mom wants a clean break. Sorry, man. And so if you can get a bank loan or you can get an investor, or you can scrape the money together from your mama. I don't care where you get it, but, his mama, not yours. And so, that, just go and tell him you got 30 days to hook or crook, put this together, and if you can, I'm putting it on the market. And it's not that I hate you or something. I've just got to clean this up for Mom, and I'm trying to take care of her, dude. And, just have real clean, kind, clear conversations with him. Hey, good question. You're a good man for stepping in and helping your mama. Way to go. Good job, Colby. Good job. This is the EntreLeadership Podcast.